Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to discuss an article I posted last night on Mopar Insiders about Tim Kuniskis and how that article came about and whatnot. But I wrote this article last night. Tim Kuniskis is saying no to the Stellantis CEO role. And a lot of people, a lot of YouTubers and stuff in general have been saying, yeah, Kuniskis is going to be the new CEO for Stellantis. He doesn't want it. And that's the interesting thing. He's publicly come out and told Newsweek the other day that he didn't want it. So how I got this information was Tim has been doing a lot of interviews since Detroit Auto Show. And I was reading one probably like 3-4 days ago on Newsweek, of all places. And Newsweek really, doesn't do a whole lot with automotive anymore. But it was pretty interesting because it said, their article said, Ram's new CEO says company is not living up to expectations. So, of course, I wanted to read it. And basically the article goes through and talks about, how Tim basically left the company, he comes back, the things he needs to do to, fix the brand. And the interesting thing was, Tim basically, was talking about how he pushed forward the Ram Charger, pushed back the Rev, the electric truck, and then basically, why he left the company. He didn't say anything about Carlos Tavares in that article, which was kind of funny because he's been, ever since he said that he could deal with him, he hasn't been saying anything else about the whole Tavares situation. But basically he said, his wife, told him, hey, you need to de-stress your life a little bit, and he said he really missed being in the auto industry, and he was contacting everybody, and he said he was just getting withdrawals. So with that being said, he came back. He said it didn't take much, but the interesting part of the whole article was this 2-sentence paragraph right here called "What to Know," and it says Kuniskis did not want to be considered for the role of Stellantis CEO, a spot currently vacant after the hasty exit of Carlos Tavares. He told Newsweek that it isn't his style, explaining that some people love business, some people love politics, but he loves the product. So I thought that was very interesting because Tim hasn't officially come out and said anything about, a possible CEO role. So that right there says a lot because obviously Tim's got a lot going on with the Ram brand. There was a botched launch of the 2025 Ram 1500. We know that this new electrical architecture set them back big time. Tavares was quick to point that it was the fault of the UAW members at Sterling Heights assembly plant. However, what we're hearing is, or what we heard is he basically fired 2% of the North American workforce back in March of last year, and most of those people were software engineers and electrical engineers. And then on top of it, you got not only a brand new electrical architecture for the Ram 1500, but you got an all-new electric vehicle with the Dodge Charger Daytona, the Wagoneer S, and the Recon. So that's one of the reasons why we had this huge pushback on Chargers and Wagoneer S's, and we didn't get them out until recently in dealers. And they're still having issues with some stuff, but it seems like they're doing better now. But they had to bring in people from other places around the globe and other companies to help solve their problems because of Tavares's, mismanagement of just cuts. And we know they spent millions of dollars transporting vehicles from Sterling Heights Assembly to places like CTC, where I shot pictures of there was 400 vehicles sitting there in the lot, with a big tent, and they were fixing them with trying to figure out what was wrong with these trucks. So there's just a lot of stuff going on. And then Tim also elaborated hey, there's certain trims that are really popular that aren't being built for some reason, and we need to get those out to dealers. He highlighted, the Ram Rebel, which obviously their off-road version, that was one of their most successful trims. And then he highlighted the Warlock, which is, basically the budget-friendly version of the Rebel, which is probably one of my favorite trucks. And I'm looking for a new Ram truck right now, and I've been looking online, and I'm really interested in the Rebel. I want something cheaper than that. And the problem with the Warlock is, I go to look for them, I can't find them anywhere. There's 5 of them located right now within 150 miles of my house, and I live in Metro Detroit, not too far from the plant. So, when you're looking for a product and it's not there, it's hard to buy something that's not there. Another problem is the tungsten model. everybody hates the fact that Ram has like a $90,000 price tag, but there are some people out there who want a premium pickup truck, and unfortunately, it's hard to find a tungsten model. So, like those people who are cross shopping GMC Denali's, obviously they're going to go get a Denali if they can get it while it's on the lot. So there's a lot of issues that Tim's working out. I mean, they're getting ready with the launch of the new heavy-duty trucks. Those trucks are already being built. They should be reaching dealers here within the next, I would say, like week or so, starting to reach them. And they have the new Atlantis electrical architecture. So there's that he's worried about. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on. So I'm sure there's enough on the Ram plate, to make sure that he's busy completely with trying to make sure that the prices come down. There's more affordable trucks. He's talked about, hey, he wants more sub $50,000 trucks. There's just a lot of things going on that Tim's working on with the brand. So it makes sense that he wants to stay. Now, when we talk about the CEO role, there's been a lot of talk about Antonio Filosa, the current COO of North America for Stellantis and the Jeep CEO. And he has been doing a phenomenal job since he came on board. But I've heard things about how they kind of want him in that position because he hasn't been there for quite a year, and he's been doing a really good job trying to put out fires with dealers. We know that dealers, 72% of dealers that were surveyed last summer don't trust Stellantis, and he's trying to put out fires with the dealers. He's trying to lower prices on Jeeps, and trying to basically get a hold of everything. Like he discontinued the the Wagoneer sub brand and brought the Wagoneer nameplates back down the Jeep because he wants to make sure that the branding's still there. It's still a Jeep, but he wants to make sure that Jeep has a full compatible lineup and that people recognize it as a Jeep. So there's just a lot of different things going on with him. So he's been the top candidate that everybody's been talking about to become the new CEO. He's had a lot of success in South America. He moved up here to North America. He's been running the Jeep brand, but he's only got the North American role for about a year now. So he's just getting things done, and he seems to be doing good. But I don't think they would want to take him out of that role because he's doing really good putting out the fires. But I've heard rumors about Mike Manley coming back. There was a person who talked to me and said Mike Manley was supposedly at CTC talking because he's the CEO of AutoNation, and he was talking about closing some of the dealers and trying to negotiate with Stellantis about their contracts. And they talked to him supposedly there. I don't know. It's just a rumor. I didn't post anything about it on Mopar Insiders because I didn't think there was no concrete evidence that it happened. But I've heard from a couple of people that they're looking at him to come back, which makes sense because Manley obviously ran Jeep and Ram, and he knows both of those brands really good and the North American market. He's been with Chrysler since forever, before when it was Daimler Chrysler, and he ran, he was head of sales for Chrysler basically in the UK. So he knows the European market, he knows the Asian Pacific market because he was in charge of all that while it was FCA. Him and Kuniskis were both on the former board of FCA, and obviously he was the former CEO of FCA before they merged. So there's a possibility that could be true. We've heard that there's been a couple people in the company that they're looking at, and we've heard a couple things about people outside the company too. But whoever it's going to be, they need to have somebody that knows both the European and North American markets for sure. I understand why people are saying Kuniskis because Tim, he's the only person in in the company now that's ran basically all the core brands in North America. He was head of passenger cars. He was the CEO of Chrysler, Dodge, and Fiat. He got his start as the CEO of Fiat North America. He actually did almost all the car brands 2 or 3 times. He was head of Alfa Romeo Global, the actual global brand, for a year. He was head of Maserati for a year. And, again, he was head of Jeep North America back in 2018. He was also been the head of Ram Trucks up until he left, then he came back, and now he's head again. So it kind of made sense, that Tim could, do good. But I think they're looking at somebody that has both North America and European roles, like that know the markets really well, just because there's such a turning point, and it's just going to be kind of chaotic, with them trying to find somebody that knows both. The thing is North America is by far their biggest market that they need to focus on, and this is where they're really getting, kicked in the butt right now, because Tavares didn't know it. He let it collapse, and now they're at a critical point in the whole company that North America supported the rest of the company. And now with that being gone, they need to rebuild it. So they got to find somebody that's going to be good at both sides. So there's going to be a lot of changes coming up. Again, you can't trust everything you hear online. I've been telling you guys this as an automotive journalist, for the past 6 years. I'm telling you, like, everything we hear, whether it be insider stuff or because everybody talks. Living in Detroit, I hear pretty much everything. And, or from what we've been reading, things change so quickly right now. Because since Tavares has left, they're getting away from that Dare Forward 2030. Even though they keep saying it in all their media stuff, they're really pushing away from it, trying to make it so they're not 50% EV by the end of the decade. They're trying to make it so, hey, we want to build product and build by volume, not sell less product more at a more premium price. So with that being said, yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see, because they need a CEO that's going to come in and be aggressive with not just President Trump's administration, but also the Canadian administration and UAW and Unifor and the Mexican government as well, to really get things done for North America. So keep that in mind. It's not just going to be like a cushy role for somebody. If they want to actually get this company back, in play to be a serious automaker again on the global scale, they really need somebody that's going to be, ready to talk to people, challenge governments about, different policies and stuff, and tariffs and all that. So it'll be very interesting to see. But yes, Kuniskis sounds like he's out. So, all right. Sorry for babbling, but I'll see you in the next video. Make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.